Gamer today. Please silence your cell phones, your beepers, your pagers, your iWatches, your Androids, your iPhone, everything. Let's keep them silent, please. So wanted to welcome our newest team members. We got Martin, Calvin, Heather, Sunny, and Betsy. We're really glad you guys joined us. Some company news and highlights to go over. First and foremost, managers will all be into Olympia tomorrow, so please text us if you need help. We're gonna be there all day for a joint meeting with Oregon, so if you guys need help, the 911 calls and stuff, the fastest way to get a hold of us will be texting. So just FYI. Last year in 2024, John Scott Foundation helped 28 events for 18 hospitals, which helped raise $20 million for children's health care, and also 3,500 meals served at the multiple Ronald McDonald houses. So let's give a hand. Are you on the board? Are you on the listing board?
Yes.
Last month, we had a total of 61 listings in February for new listings. And with that, have Tony come on up. It's time to do our drawing. We were off the board, so we got 2 giveaways today. And the special prize is a happy hour with Jim.
In Mexico.
In Mexico. And the winner, first winner.
Troy Kerr.
Troy Kerr. All right. That's one for Troy. Next.
She is here too. Natalie Rector.
Natalie. We took Quasi out last, oh no, that was still this month, right?
Yeah.
How was it?
That was delicious. What was that place called?
Asadero?
What is it?
Asadero.
Yeah. It's amazing.
All right. So Jim, you gotta compete with that.
Wow.
No problem.
All right, let's look at some market conditions. Obviously, interest rates are still a little out of reach, right, to a lot of people. Plus tariffs, right? Plus Doge. Hopefully no one got an email in here. And of course, plus this. Job security fears in 2025. You guys know that 81% of workers are worried about losing their jobs.
Yes, I'm not.
Yeah, that's because we wake up every morning unemployed. That's why you don't have the same fear. But what this equals is uncertainty. This is what's causing the pause in the market. So how do you find more business? As a broker, right, you're doing everything you can, but this is a place to where there's always business. In your handouts, we got the 12 Ds. So first, obviously, these delisted from MLS, delusional for sale by owners, death, divorce, debt, double debt, damage, uninhabitable, attacked by cities, fire, disabled, drugs, houses shut down by the city, desperate to move, determined to move, and displacement. So if you're trying to find business, these are the areas where no matter what interest rates are, people are still buying and selling real estate. So focus in these areas and you will see more transactions. Okay, now for a little market update. In your handouts, we do have King County. But right now we are in the beginning of that spring market. And let's take a look at King and Pierce County. So 2025's and new total active listings in February is 1938. We're like 500 more than same time last year. Does it seem like it?
No.
It doesn't, does it? And you can see just the level. I think all that uncertainty slowed the market. Because a lot of people are coming up and asking me in the gym and of course, Tony, like, what's going on? Why is it so slow? It's the uncertainty that's keeping people back. So King County numbers, these are in your handouts. So brand new listings in February was 1802. Last year, same time was 1845. Total active, 1938. Last year was 1413. The percent change is about 37% difference of more inventory, which is surprising. And then, of course, the pendings was 1490. Last year, same time was 1557. It's barely off, 4%. Closed deals was 1,066. Last year, same time was 1,064. It's almost the same. Interesting, but look what price did, went up a little bit. 915 in King County is the median price point for single family residential. So pretty close to last year. And we're sitting at a 1.82 month supply. But there are some pockets of markets that are seeing some crazy growth right now. Do you see area 510? 43.13% up compared to last year, same time. Who knows what area number that is? What area? Lennox? You can't, you can't answer. What is it?
Mercer Island?
I heard it. Don't say it. No.
Yeah.
Mercer Island, that's correct. Mercer Island. Wow, $1 million difference. You just won a book.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
All right, let's look at condos. So new listings for condos in February was 769. Same time last year was 647. Total active was 1309. Same time last year was 723. That's an 81% increase in condo listings for King County. It's crazy. Pendings though, 597. Last year, same time was 504. That's up 18.5%. Closed deals was 450. Last year, same time was 386. So you're on almost, 17%. That's pretty good for condos. A lot of people coming back to downtown Seattle had a lot to do with it, right? Amazon called everyone back. So, of course, too, Apple coming in downtown, that helps too. So more and more people are coming back to downtown Seattle, which is great news. Median price is $612,500. Last year, at the same time, was $550. It's up 11%. And you're sitting at a 2.91 month supply. So pretty good for condos. All right, let's take a peek at Pierce County for February. Total active was 1231, so a little bit over. And it's almost dead heat for the pendings, exact same time, 913 to 911. The uncertainty didn't quite ripple down to Pierce County. I think it's because just it's more affordable. All right, so of course, Pierce County has so many map areas. I can only squeeze in like half of them, not even half of them, a quarter of them on the screen. But anyways, all of Pierce County listings for new listings in February was 815. Same time last year was 917. Total active was 1231. Last year, same time was 969. You're up 27% for inventory. Pendings is 911. Last year, same time was 913. It's almost dead even. And then price or total closed was 612. Last year, same time was 625. You're barely off 2%. Median price point though, 550. 497, and then last year same time 550, so pretty much the same, and you're just sitting at a 2-month supply for single family residential. So you're going to see more competition there. Let's look at the condos. New listings was 77. Last year same time was 90. Total active is 145, and the same time last year was 117. So you're looking at 24% increase. Pendings was 68, last year, same time, 81, you're off 16%. And then closed deals, 54, last year, 50, it's barely 8%, nothing really to talk about. And it's barely off for pricing, 414,000 for the median. And then 416 last year. So you're sitting at a 2.6 month supply, a little bit more than King County. Lockbox activity. This is something I started adding last year. And it's good to see like what's happening with showings. So February went down a teeny bit, and I think that same kind of uncertainty, caused that in the market. But you can see that it's just barely off, not by a lot. But I always love to point out that look at how much activity on average is on Fridays compared to even Sundays. There's actually more activities of showings happening on Fridays. You guys keep that in mind when you're scheduling open houses. This is a great way to beat competition. And I think Seller Listing Launch is the program to really take advantage of this. And a great way to beat your competition, including Redfin, because the most convenient thing for Redfin is the showings. If you launch your listing on Friday or Thursday, you have an open house scheduled on the same day. And have open houses that will cut off and bypass a lot of that traffic. All right, with that, I would like to have our special guests come on up. Is it on? No, almost. Oh, there it is. Oh,
Sure.
one more time. Now you got it.
Sure.
There it is.
Okay, there we go.
All right. First of all, thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate you guys taking the time. I think time's the most expensive commodity we have, right? That we have is to spend our time and to do that. So we greatly appreciate both of you guys very much. So I'll start out with Cliff. I got a question for you. After a successful 10-year NFL career, you've transitioned into real estate development and investment. What inspired this shift? And how have you, as your experience in professional sports, influenced your approach in real estate?
I feel like, well, I've been investing in real estate even when I was a player. Is it working?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, sorry. I was investing in real estate even when I was a player. And one of the things that I seen consistently when I would meet different individuals that were honestly people that were writing our checks, people that were very successful, sold companies, tech companies, whatever it may have been. A lot of them always owned a lot of real estate. And I always wondered why. And as I kind of dove into it and understanding all the different benefits that comes from it outside of, it being a wealth builder, it's also, very taxi. There's a lot of tax advantages and different things like that. So when I retired, I decided to jump into it. And one of the things that comes up quite a bit as I'm building out my company and partnerships and different things like that is the teamwork aspect of it. Football is very much a team sport. There's no success without, there's no Russell Wilson without the offensive line. There's no Russell Wilson without Marshawn. Same thing on defense, right? So it's very much the same in real estate as well. You're only as strong as your team, whether it's, different partnerships, your contractors, your property management, all those different things play a big role in the success that you have. So being able to see that correlation and implement the same things that I learned on the football field, I believe is what's allowing me to have a little bit of success in real estate right now.
Yeah, no, that's great. That makes a lot of sense. Delia, question for you. In your book, Real Estate Investing, Nothing Held Back, I love that title. You provide comprehensive guidance for investors. What motivated you to write this book, and how does it reflect your personal journey in real estate?
So when I chatted on the phone with my clients, my husband would always say when I hang up the phone, like, you need to write a book. I'm like, I'm not gonna write a book. To me, it was just common sense. It's like, oh, you can't hear, sorry.
There you
Can you
go.
hear now? Okay, so my husband would always tell me I need to write a book every time I talk to my clients because it was a lot of helpful information. And in my head, I'm like, this is common sense. Why do I need to write a book? So we actually did an event together. The first time we did the Seahawks meetup. And I remember, never talked about this, by the way. KJ Wright sat on this side and he goes, how do you know when something makes sense? Like, how do you know what pencils out? How do I know what to buy? And literally that night is what clicked for me. And I was like, oh my God, this is like what I need to write about. So that actually what pushed me over the edge. And then, I was able to put everything together. And the second question was, how does it?
Oh, and how does it reflect your personal journey in real estate?
I guess coming here as a refugee at age 19, not being able to speak English, having to write that book and actually sitting in a room full of people here today and sharing my knowledge. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it really is. Um. Cliff, your company, California Family Properties.
CA Family Properties.
Oh,
The
CA.
payroll.
Focuses on building luxury spec homes in the Seattle area. What factors led you to specialize in this niche? And what unique challenges and opportunities have you encountered?
Oh, it's a lot of
Sure
unique
you have.
challenges. Oh, yeah. Especially, and I mean, just looking at the stats that you just put up makes a lot of sense on some of the different things that we're encountering. But I decided to build spec homes on the east side because I lived there, right? I kind of understood the market. My partners that they've been doing it for 20 years. So that's kind of, you know, what they kind of built their company off of. So for me, it was, okay, I know the market, I'm here. I'm trying to understand more on the real estate side of things as well. And I'm seeing how much traffic is coming in and out. I'm seeing all the different companies that are coming to Bellevue, some companies that are leaving Seattle to come to Bellevue. So what you need with real estate and with any business, right? You need people, you need money, right? So the east side made a lot of sense, just seeing what the market was doing. But then also, you know, the challenges are when you're on the east side, you're also only catering to a certain sector of people. The pool is a little bit smaller. So there's going to be times where there's uncertainty in the market, even in the luxury market, when there's uncertainty, when the market's kind of, you know, the companies are, you know, laying off and whatnot, you'll see pullback even in the luxury market as well. And we're experiencing that right now. We actually have a property on the market right now. It's the first time out of this would be our 5th or 6th home that we've built where we didn't pre-sell it. So now we're kind of waiting. And again, the uncertainty is causing buyers to just be you know, they're holding back a little bit. So now, you know, price reductions have to happen and different things like that to entice them to hopefully get back into the market. Because at the end of the day, I mean, the east side is a great place to invest in regardless. But if you can get it at a discount, why not? You know, I mean, so I understand it from an investor perspective as well.
Very true. All right, Nelia. You've amassed ownership of 193 units and have been featured in various media outlets. What strategies have been most effective in scaling your portfolio? And how do you identify and capitalize on investment opportunities?
I usually look at job growth, economic growth, you know, what are the numbers doing? How realistic is it to achieve what I think I can achieve with the building? And then I make my decision based on that in terms of whether or not I'll buy the building. So it's pretty much pretty simple formula. Have a model, follow that model, don't deviate from it.
Makes perfect sense. Cliff, you've mentioned the importance of involving friends and family in real estate ventures. Could you elaborate on how you've approached this and the benefits and challenges of such collaborations?
Yes. So one of the main reasons why I wanted to get into real estate was, again, I mentioned it earlier, where a lot of wealthy individuals, they all own a lot of real estate for all the different various reasons. And for me, I wanted to create that platform for my friends and family as well. So I wanted to create a platform where my friends and family can invest alongside of me, be a part of it, understanding the journey, understanding what real estate is all about. But also, I mean, it's a lot easier, especially in the community that I come from. Most of us don't understand, we don't have that financial literacy. We don't understand real estate. We honestly, a lot of times don't have the money to invest. You know, you drive by these apartments and different things like that, and you think it's nothing but a bunch of hedge funds or institutional money that owns it, but it's really just group economics a lot of times too, right? So being able to teach them, being able to pour into them and create a platform where they know I don't necessarily need to steal their money either, right? I don't need their money to do this. So having them come on the journey with me and to be able to kind of create cash flow and create that generate you know, that generational wealth, I think is huge. And I also just believe that, you know, as you know better, you do better, and you teach those behind you as well. So I'm very big on just trying to bring people along on the journey to be able to learn how to invest and kind of take control over their cash more so than, you know, just depending on the W-2 all the time as well.
Oh, no, that is great. Nelia, your book emphasizes the significance of building a reliable team. What advice do you have for investors looking to assemble a trustworthy and effective team, especially when investing out of state?
Oof, that's a tough one. I probably would say when you invest, buy something local, build a system in place, and then you can demand whatever team you do end up hiring, you know what to ask of them. I see oftentimes people will run around, they'll hire a team, they don't know what to request from them, they don't know how the buildings need to be ran, like there's a lot of things that go behind the scene that you need to be aware of, and sometimes just hiring somebody and hoping they know what to do
Yeah. That
is
sounds
not the way to
scary.
do the business.
That sounds
So I would
really
say-
scary.
I would say whether it's a little townhome, condo, single family, start small, buy local, build a system in place, and then make sure your team follows that system.
Yeah, we kind of go along with that same kind of advice with other stuff in here, like, don't try to just do it on your own. There's people that can help, so you can see how you absolutely want to do that first. All right, Cliff, you've discussed the advantages of cost segregation studies in your investments. For those unfamiliar, could you explain what these are and how they've benefited your real estate ventures?
Yeah, so cost segregation is, again, I brought it up probably every time we've spoken so far, is the tax advantages that real estate has as an investor. Cost segregation is one of those things that essentially, there's depreciation that you get from your properties that you get to write off on an annual basis. And, it's usually based on, it's based on a percentage, and there's some other things that go into it, but essentially you can get all of the depreciation of that in the first year of owning that property. So if you own this asset, you're able to depreciate, simple numbers, $100,000. Well, you get to offset that against if your earned income as well. So if you made 100,000 and you're going to pay 20,000 in taxes, well, now that 100,000 that you have essentially is a tax credit. You don't have to pay that taxes on those funds. So it's just learning the tax game, honestly. It's all about just diving deep into it and seeing how you can take advantage of these opportunities. We only think it's the wealthy and they're kind of cheating, but it's really out there for all of us. We just got to go seek the information, right? So cost segregation is one of those tactics that you're able to use to offset against the money that you're earning at your W-2 and being able to just pay less taxes. Because at the end of the day, I don't care if you're wealthy, if you're working 9 to 5, whatever it may be, taxes is going to be our biggest expense. So if we can find ways to mitigate it legally, you should. That way you can go, spend more and pour into the economy in different ways.
Yeah, that's huge. You can make a big difference in how you're developing the property and make changes to it. So that's really, really a cool ad. All right, Nelia. You've been active on social media, sharing insights into your investing journey. How has leveraging social media platforms impacted your real estate business? And what role does it play in connecting with potential investors and clients? And can you talk about Bitcoin too? You had the first Bitcoin sale in the state.
Oh,
In the country.
In the country. Sorry.
No clue.
And here's the best part, Fannie Mae did not have
Regulations.
regulations, and we actually sat down with them and made sure they had some. So I didn't even know what the hell it was. But how does it help me? It's really interesting when I show up to an appointment. I don't really have to sell myself hard. I've gotten every single listing I've gone on every time. And I'm a little picky who I work with.
I
and
was just gonna say everyone you wanted.
There you go. You know that too, yeah. I'm a little picky who I work with. I get to choose who I want to be helping out versus working with everybody that walks into the door and then they suck the life and energy out of you. I don't play that game.
That's the beauty of our business, is that we get to choose who we.
You know,
work with.
and I think you all have a lot, like every one of us can do the same thing here because consumer wants to know what they don't have right now. What does everybody have at their fingertip? They can go on Redfin, they can go on Zillow, they can pull up whatever history, taxes, give them something they don't know, like the stats that he just showed us. That's not out there. That's important information that consumer wants to know. So the more you put that information out there, the more you build that trust, and then people will come to you and they're gonna want to work with you.
Definitely. All right, Cliff, transitioning from professional sports to real estate is a significant change. What were some of the challenges you faced during this transition? And how did you overcome them to establish yourself in the industry? I know Tyler even had issues when he was still playing
Yeah.
and he got into real estate. I know he got a lot of flack for that.
Yes, I think because you're an athlete, people always view you as such, right? No one wants to think of you outside of that. No one wants to think of you even outside of just being a human being, right? So it's always, that's kind of who you are to everyone, which has its pros and cons, of course, right? But when you're trying to, turn the page and start a new chapter in your life, I think it's all about just using that to your advantage, right? Because as an athlete, you're fortunate enough to meet quite a few different people. So now you have to let down your guard and ego and go meet and be humble about it and go meet different individuals and those that are doing it. Surround yourself with people that are doing it. So I'm okay going to meetups. I'm okay going to different real estate conferences and just talking to folks, right? And then if they find out or that I happen to have played ball, cool. But I'm okay because I understand, and I did this when I was a rookie as well. I would walk into the locker room, be humble about it, but just pay attention to what all the veterans are doing because someday I wanted to be that guy. So why not do that in real estate? So surround yourself with different folks that are doing what it is that you think you want to do, and just pay attention to how they're moving, and also asking questions, being okay asking questions. And when you're starting anything new, it's going to be uncomfortable. But in football, you've learned to live in a space of being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Well, I had that same approach in real estate I'm not necessarily the most extroverted type of person, but I'll take that risk to be able to better myself. So that's kind of how I've implemented, how I've kind of made that transition is just, okay, going to different spaces, not knowing anything and just listening.
I love that. Like we talk about that all the time in here about you got to get more comfortable with being uncomfortable. Love that. All right, Nelia. Let's see, where was it? Tenant issues can be a major hurdle in real estate investing. Have you ever dealt with a nightmare tenant situation? How did you handle it? And what steps did you take to avoid similar issues in the future?
I did. And if somebody tells you they didn't, they're lying.
Yeah.
I had a tenant actually here in Tacoma that before he moved in, he told me he was having a back surgery and there was a nurse that was going to move in with him and she was only going to be there for 3 weeks. Lo and behold, she was a cracky with the warrant on her. His girlfriend ended up running over the old man and we had somebody that overdosed. It was just a complete nightmare. Yes, that happened. And what would I do different? I'd probably screen everyone, even if they're there for 2 weeks, like he told me. 2 weeks.
Yeah. Also, second question for you. In your book, Nothing Held Back, you cover various aspects of both residential and commercial investments. How do you determine which type of property aligns best with your investment goals? And what factors influence your decision-making process?
So I don't do residential anymore. I mainly buy commercial. In fact, the smallest building I just recently bought was 10 and I'm like itching to get rid of it because it's so little. What factors? I usually, again, pay attention to economic growth, who's moving to town, what kind of jobs are coming to town. Are they landlord friendly or are they tenant friendly, right? Not to get political, but that's a big deciding factor also for me in terms of where I would want to buy. And, going out to restaurants, talking to bartenders, talking to, what you might call them, the people that take your orders. I forgot their names. Waiters, servers. Talking to waiters, just kind of because they talk to a lot of people, they have a lot of intel. How hard is it to get a rental property here? Like all of those things are deciding factors for me. I do go to police stations. I will let them know, like, this is the building I'm looking to buy. what is it that I need to know about it? And they just sit back, relax, and they tell you everything you need to know. So do your research.
Yeah, that's huge. You really gotta do your
Don't buy
research.
something because an agent told you
No.
it's a great deal.
That's a great deal. All right, Cliff, you've invested in multiple real estate markets also, obviously. What factors do you consider when deciding when to invest and how do you navigate unfamiliar markets? Goes like kind of the same way.
Yeah, so I think partnerships are great. I have a apartment building or apartment complex actually with Nelia, right? In Huntsville, Alabama. I didn't know much about the market. The opportunity presented itself. And Nelia was already in that market, right? So she already had the infrastructure there, whether you talk about property managers, contractors, even as far as, having different brokers for insurance and different things like that. So now it just becomes a trust but verify type of situation, right? You do your research on Huntsville. Well, Huntsville was one of the fastest growing markets at the time. It's very inexpensive to live out there. They have one of the biggest army bases out there as well. So, you start doing your due diligence and then like, oh, okay, this deal makes sense, right? I see why she's investing out there as well. So those types of situations, I think, is extremely important, when you're looking at different markets. I own properties in other cities and states as well, and it's along the same lines. It's all about finding a team or finding people that you know out there. If you don't have that, now it's all referral based, right? If you can't find people that are on the ground there, I will slow up on trying to invest in cities that you don't know much about because a city like Chicago, as an example, is very much a block by block city. You can be on one block and it's honestly a shootout, and then 3 blocks over, you're in the suburbs and it's $5 million homes. You know what I mean? So you just have to do your due diligence, and it's all about who you partner up with because it is very much a team sport. Even if it's a local investment, you still have to have a property manager that you have to manage as well, right? So it's very much a team sport, and it's all about building your team out before you invest in any market. And I would say, and you tell me if you agree, but your property manager is going to be from a football reference is going to be your quarterback. Like that's the person that's going to handle everything. And if your quarterback ain't playing well, it's going to be hard to win the game.
Yeah. Property management, that's always a tough one to get figured out. Do either of you guys own anything outside of the country?
No.
No.
Right, national.
Okay. No international stuff. All right. Let's see. Nelia, your book is called Nothing Held Back, obviously. One piece of advice or a hard-earned lesson that you wish every new investor knew before they got started.
It's business, treat it like business. Honestly, that's about it. Because, not all of us, a lot of us being in the residential real estate, we see a lot of emotions that come into play. Like, oh my God, the room is blue, but I have a girl, like, we'll paint the damn room. It's not a big deal. Like, don't make emotional decisions. Again, have a model in place, have numbers in place, stick to your formula. In order to be able to have a great deal, you need to be willing to walk away from a great deal. Like, it's true.
Yeah, that's 100%. All right, well, last question. Cliff, coming from the NFL, you've worked under extreme pressure. Have there been any high pressure moments in real estate where you've had to make a game time decision? What was the outcome?
I'm all about winning. So let's say we won. No, I'm just joking. No, yeah, there's always things coming up. I think the biggest thing is when you're dealing with tenants and also your team, when you're dealing with people, honestly, there's going to be things that come up. And going back to what Nelia said is making sure that you don't make emotional decisions. If you're making an emotional decision, you're making the wrong decision. You have to be able to make decisions with a clear head and with facts, right? So I would say that one of the hardest things that I'm dealing with and that I've dealt with, honestly, is just managing people. One of the hardest things that I had to learn, and I'm still kind of getting over it, but because I've been around athletes my entire life, I assumed and thought that everybody kind of processed things the same way we did, which is all about we're super competitive. We always are trying to find ways to get better. And we want to be the best version of ourselves every single day. We take pride in what we do every single day. Everyone doesn't operate that way. It took me a while to understand that because, you know, you hire a property manager and she's okay just being okay. And I'm like, but you can be better, you know what I mean? Like, you can be better. So, that was just something I had to learn, just mentally and prepare myself that everyone doesn't operate that way. And you have to find those types of rock stars and put them on your team to really have success. And someone that's just ambitious about whatever it is they're doing. If it's the maintenance guy, you want the guy that believes he's gonna be the best maintenance guy out there. If it's the property manager, you want the one that wants to build her company or his company out to be, you know, one of the best ones out there. And those are the people that you want to surround yourself with, because then if everybody's winning, you inevitably win too.
Yeah, that's amazing advice. Literally, you sound like you described a broker that works in this office, so I love it. That is it, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, honey.
You have a fabulous book, everybody should
Thank you.
read it, and sharing the next phase of your life. Now, as Super Bowl champ in Super Bowl, what, 48 was it?
48, yes, sir.
Yeah, so, I know you said it's a team sport, but in my book, you were the most valuable player
Oh,
in that
man,
game,
thank
by
you.
far.
Thank you. Quick announcement, there are more lunches here now showed up, so more stuff in the back. Thanks again.
Thank you.
I greatly appreciate that. But before you leave, we got a couple baskets for you.
Oh,
For now, yeah.
Sweet.
For you.
Then I'll be part
And
of
flowers, and the flowers. And for Cliff.
oh, thank you.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Nice, thank you, guys.
All right. All right, with that, I'll bring up one of our trusted partners, Mr. Aaron Hafner, with the Mortgage Minute. Come on up.
Thank you. I get to follow that. That's awesome. Super Bowl champ. Well, in my mind, I'm a Super Bowl champ. All right. Let's take a look and see where we're at today. Today's episode, I got questions for you up at the beginning. So you got to answer in the form of a question. Okay? Per Zillow, sellers who list their home during this time maximize their sale price by 1.6%. 1.6%. Anybody? Go ahead.
What is the spring?
It's more specific than spring.
What is April 11th?
April 11th, okay. Let's see what it is. It's the second half of May. This is across the country, so it's pretty good. All right. The Daily Double. Here you go. Per Zillow, sellers who listed their home in San Jose, California during this time and maximized their sales price by 5.3%. Memorial Day weekend one. What is Memorial Day weekend?
Oh, yes.
Actual answer is, what is the second half of March? Oh, and pretty interesting. I didn't know that. Exactly. All right. So we'll just talk about today. So the Fed's going to meet tomorrow, and they're going to give us some indication, but there's probably not going to be any change in interest rates. The market, we're looking for a market direction to when it will. The prime rate is on 7.5, and the Fed funds rate is about 4.5%. Okay. So if something changes, we'll let you know. And so let's take a look at the 10-year Treasury today. So last time we met last month, we were down here, and it's kind of gone up and gone down, and it seems like it's kind of maybe somewhat stabilized, I guess. There's a lot of stuff going on, and so the uncertainty piece that we talked about before, this is where it comes in and it shows us where it's at. So you add about 2.5% to the to that rate, and that kind of gives you what mortgage rates are doing. Okay. So again, we've kind of stabilized a little bit. Hopefully this will come back down like it was last September, at the end of September last year. We get some good momentum. 30-year fixed today is probably around 6.875, 6.75, something like that. Okay. And I'll pass this in here. And then you can see for the whole month of March, we've been just slightly under 7, which is great. Last year at this time, we're at 7%. So 7% and under the 6.75 is a pretty good deal, you know what I mean? But hopefully get some more direction on it, but that's kind of where we're at for the interest rate piece of it, okay? So then I wanted to talk about this. So Eric was talking about how interest rates and uncertainty, people just can't get there. And so what I tried to do for me is to show you some examples. So this is on the MLS, right? Have you guys seen that button before on the MLS? Yeah, so it pops up, right? It pops up all the affordable programs and that kind of thing, which I thought was kind of interesting. So I don't understand if you put something in there or does it automatically fill in or not. I'm not sure. If you had like a $2 million listing, would it show up? Right? But so the idea is to have these on these listings which show maybe some different affordability and that kind of thing. And so what I'm thinking about and what my superpower is going to be a pro athlete here, is premium affordability program, right? So in my mind, how can I use those first time home buyer programs or whatever it is to market to make the payment more affordable? That's the whole idea. If interest rates are higher and we can't reach it, what can I do to make those payments lower and more attractive so people can buy? And so that's what we try to focus on. And that's what I want to focus on. So you have listings that have been sitting for a teeny bit or whatever. What can we do to promote payment affordability to get the thing sold for you? Okay. And so this looks kind of busy. It's like I wrote it on a napkin. But anyhow, but the idea is that payment affordability program. So the crux of it is that if you do reduction of purchase price, say of $10,000 on a $400,000 home, that saves the bar about $50. So then it's not that much of a perceived value that they're getting. But if we take that same $10,000 and do these different programs that we've all talked about, temporary buy downs, short or full-time buy downs, whatever it is, down payment assistance programs, anything like that, that might be able to move the needle and get the home sold. So that's kind of the superpower that I'm working on. That's what I want to work on and focus with you guys. So if you see something like that, if you have a house that's not moving, let's talk and we can figure out how to put market around it to do a whole marketing program to kind of reinvent it and to get it sold. Okay. The other part too is that last month we talked about investment properties and we talked about these cash flow loans, DSCR, which is the debt service coverage ratio. We did a class on that, and we talked about how you don't have to use the cash flow of the building. Okay, it can be a 1 to 4 unit building, and you can use the actual cash flow of it. So you don't need any income documentation, don't need anything, credit reports and stuff like that aren't a big deal. You qualify with the cash flow of the property, right? So it's a great deal for someone. The income is variable. People who know the market, that maybe providing documentation for income might be tough. I know a lot of people in this room that might be like that. So that's why these programs are great. Okay. You can use short-term rentals. You can do condos, you can do single family homes and that kind of thing. So it's a really, really cool program. And then we just had the class on Monday, yesterday. A couple of you were here. We talked about the reverse mortgage and how that can really help people age in place, use that static equity that they have to continue living in their home. The other part is that you can purchase with a reverse mortgage and not have any mortgage payment. So if you have someone who's trying to downsize and they have $300,000 in cash that they could buy a house for $300,000, or maybe they can buy a house for $500,000, only put $250,000 of it down and not have any mortgage payment because they're using a reverse mortgage, might be a great opportunity to help these people who are trying to transition from, downsizing whatever. So, was that
You do that on a rental property,
owner occupied?
so if,
Reverse mortgage, you mean?
yeah, the reverse mortgage, so if somebody bought a fourplex
Mhm.
and they were gonna live there.
Yes, I found it out yesterday during the class that I taught.
that,
You can do that,
and so they can collect the rents
right,
and live there
Yep.
with no payment,
right.
that's my reason.
This just came out, so I would say, this is new to us, which I think is great. It opens up a whole different opportunity that a lot of people wouldn't think about. But especially when you have, I think with the 10,000 people today are turning 62 or older, it's a great program to have, for sure. And then eventually when rates come down, we'll refinance and all that good stuff. When that happens, of course, I'm talking to my folks now, letting them know we're ready for it when it does drop. And then we still have a refi and 5 program. So if you refinance them over the next 5 years, I will cover your processing, underwriting, and your. There you go, Mike. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you, Aaron. All right. Turn over your handouts and see if anyone has the Karate Kid on the back of your handouts. Who's got a Karate Kid? Oh, got 1, 2. Yeah. 3. So if you've got that, go after the meeting, go over here and Nelia will be here and she's got copies of her book to give you. She's gonna sign them for you guys. All right, let's continue. Gotta go over some John L. Scott featured tools. Pop quiz. Who remembers what this is? Anyone remember this? What is it?
Internet for like utilities and cable and all that kind of stuff.
So it's buyer concierge for all of like moving, your cable, internet connections, utilities. What did you think of the program?
I mean, my clients loved it, so, yeah.
Very cute. A lot of people didn't know what it was, so that's why it doesn't shock me to hear that, you know, everyone stayed out at once. But actually, the program, it was okay. The only way how it worked is as soon as you put in the client's information into SkySlope, like the email and phone number, then they would automatically get signed up for the program. That's how it worked. It did not work that good. There was no communication. Some people were like, what is this? And so we were like, this doesn't work. Let's look at what we can do better. So there's a company called Live Easy, and they are a full-blown concierge program.
Welcome to
It started playing.
Live Easy, your client's moving and home management
it does not sound like
concierge
sound
for
is
life. Being in the real estate industry, we know that moving can be a daunting.
All right, I'm gonna add it. Basically, what this is a concierge program that's gonna automate a connection with your clients. So it is full-blown concierge communicators. They're gonna be able to call the client and help them get set up with utilities, with contractors, and the beauty is it's your contractors. So you can sign all of your contractor specialists into the program, and they'll automatically be in the portal where they can actually be connected to clients for any stuff. And then your branding stays with every single one of those, and that follows the client. So anytime they need help in the future, you're automated on this dashboard. What do you think? Way better. They're gonna have a training session on the 24th. We do have another class on that same time. So we're going to get recordings and we're gonna get additional training, but it is a new partnership that is called JLS Homeboard. We'll be sending those out, but this is what the dashboard looks like. It'll have your branding, your info, it's gonna keep track of the client's info. If they need help moving, it's really cool stuff. It's gonna also have home insights, home essentials and other services. There's discount programs and stuff like that they can get. But anytime you need a kitchen remodeler, contractor, garage door repair, it'll all be set up. And if you have these specialists, it'll be your specialists in the system. If you don't have them, then the office is gonna have some built out. But I will remind everyone to please verify licensed and bonded and insured. So before you refer people, and always get free. So we'll be able to have this set up coming soon. And here's some of the other stuff you can do for moving box deals. A lot of people do that, different memberships, wine, sports stuff, all sorts of different things that they can also have access to. But again, your information sticks with it the whole time.
Are we putting our client's information in his portal?
Okay, so how do you sign them up? Same way, it's through SkySlope. Email, cell number. That's how you have them, and you will get an email and say, do you want to opt your client in? Yes or no? So an email is going to automate from there. But if you're like, oh, I don't want this program at all, don't put their email and phone number in the SkySlope. Okay?
And
That's how you-
information won't be sent to anyone else.
Nope. Oh, it's pretty good.
It is.
All right, reminder, win a trip drawing, April 30th is the next drawing. So you guys, using these for your open houses and other things is a really good tool to help generate additional business. We've had some different winners here, here, which is great. So, don't forget that. It's a fantastic, tool. Trusted partners, would like to first and foremost thank, Mr. Stone for lunch. Thank you so much. You've done a lot of different stuff, with us now, right? A lot of stuff. But we greatly appreciate your partnership. But you know what? Even better is the work that you guys do with crawl spaces and attics. Like, you guys like crushed it on all these different bids. And even like some of our own brokers who had issues like that you guys were there so fast.
Thank you.
So we are so happy with, the partnership, but I'll let you say a few things.
Sure, yeah. Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me again here. So my name is Stone. I'm the owner operator of Stone Insulation. We're an insulation company. We specialize in attic and crawl space cleanout. So we work with a lot of realtors closely. As you may already know that, during inspections, you see a lot of problems in attics and the crawl space. So
Should be the right, it's right here. Oh, yeah, it's kind of worn off.
So we're working hard to be your attic and crawl space expert. And other than crawl space cleanout, attic crawl space cleanout, we do a couple other things like mold remediation, air duct, dry vents, sump pump and crawl drainage, rodent exclusion. So over the past 3 years, we've been expanding to both Washington and Oregon. So right now we have 6 full-time crew here in Washington area and 2 full-time crew in Portland area. We have contract with 30+ pest control companies. As you know, most of our jobs are really because of rodent contamination or some other pest issues. I'll make it pretty quick. So this is some pictures of our work. A couple things I do want to mention though. One thing we offer to client is pay at closing. So if you're sellers, having some issue with spend a lot of money on fixing this and that, that's something they can always utilize. And another thing about us is we have pretty quick turnaround. Usually inspection we can make happen within 24 hours. You have estimate. As far as the job, usually within a week. So that's definitely some flexibilities that we can offer. Yeah. And I guess I'll go. Thank you.
We do have trifolds and stuff like that too for Stone, so. All right, last couple things, education development opportunities that are coming up. I am running the first certified open house specialist for 2025 designation course. It'll be here on the 24th and the 25th from 10 to noon. We'll be running that. You gotta be here live. I can't do Zoom. We're gonna sign you in. But if you can't make this date, you do have the opportunity to do this program on your own in My Desk. So you can access this to do the clock hour course. And it's 3.5 clock hours for free. It's fantastically built. Jeff and the team did a really good job. The certified seller marketing specialist 2025 designation update refresh is coming also. Getting here soon. Just got approved. All right. That's great. So DOL just approved it. So we'll be doing that as well. But it's a big difference maker in everything that you do. We heard Cliff talking about how you got that mentality as an athlete or someone who's hyper competitive, which I know a lot of you in this room are. But you can utilize these programs and really just set yourself apart from the rest of your competition. And it makes all the difference, especially right now. There's less deals and almost 40,000 Northwest MLS members in Washington. So you got to stand apart from your competition, and these are the types of tools and things that you guys should be doing. Absolutely. Upcoming events, we do have a Women's Council of Realtors, South King County chapter. They've got the Real Success, Master Instagram's hottest feature. That's gonna be, Thursday, the 20th, coming up. From 4 to 6:30 right here. We're gonna have a happy hour also, so please show up. Is there a cost to this?
Yes, if you're a member, it's free,
Members are free,
and if not a member, it's $20.
not a member, it's $20.
We're gonna have so much fun, and I would love for all of you to come.
All right, you heard it here.
No pressure.
No pressure. All right, with that, I've got the quote of the month. Growth is never by mere chance. It is the result of forces working together. And that's what we do. Thank you guys so much for making it today. We greatly appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your week.
I want anybody to.